defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. And now it's been a few weeks since the electorate decided to elect Donald Trump as the 45th president. And, a lot of people were predicting, oh man, if Trump is elected president, the markets are going to tank, gold's going to soar. But that's not what has happened. What have we seen recently? The Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, they've all hit record highs since Trump has been elected the next president of the United States. Then we have to ask ourselves, a lot of people now are starting to get giddy. The experts out there, because they're pointing that, look, the economy, we're in a recovery. There's an article I got here from CNBC. They're pointing out, hey, look, housing starts are at a 9-year high. And here, let me just read 2 paragraphs from it. U.S. housing starts surged to a more than 9-year high in October as builders ramped up construction of both single and multifamily homes, offering hope that housing will contribute to economic growth in the fourth quarter. Groundbreaking jumped 25.5% to a seasonally adjusted annual pace of 1.32 million units, the highest level since August 2007, the Commerce Department said on Thursday. The percent increase was the biggest since July 1982. Starts increased in all 4 regions last month. Okay, so we see housing has apparently improved, looking at the recent data. And then we jump over to the unemployment. Fewer people are filing for unemployment. And look, I got this article from Bloomberg. Let me just read a few sentences from that. The fewest Americans since 1973 filed for unemployment benefits last week, a sign that the U.S. labor market is getting tighter. Jobless claims dropped by 19,000 to 235,000 in the week ended November 12th, which included the Veterans Day holiday, a Labor Department report showed Thursday in Washington. Filings for unemployment benefits have stayed below 300,000 for 89 straight weeks, the longest streak since 1970, and a level typical for a healthy labor market. Okay, so, here we're seeing unemployment benefits, less and less people are signing up to get on the unemployment rolls. But keep this in mind, and wait a second, if we just think about this. Okay, if we did assume that the government data was correct, that the current unemployment rate is around 5%, which is almost full employment. That's the U3 number. But as you and I know, that number is it understates the problem significantly. If you look at the U6 number, that tells the people who have dropped out of the labor force they're no longer counted. The U6 is telling us that the unemployment rate is around 10%. So with that in mind, and if we look at for the 89 straight weeks, less than 300,000 people have been, filing for unemployment benefits. Well, if you already have an unemployment rate of, say, 10%, which it's been there for several years now, we've been in double-digit unemployment, looking at the U6 numbers, since, 2008. So if all those people are basically permanently unemployed, because these people are expecting sure, I could get a job working at McDonald's or whatever, but that is below me. I'm a manager, okay? I belong in management. I ain't doing nothing else lower than that. So I can't find a job, so I'm going to file for unemployment. There's a lot of people that do that. But if there's a lot of people already receiving unemployment benefits, you can't just go sign up again. So if the unemployment rate is already fairly high, I don't think that number is really showing signs of a recovery, So I don't know. I think they're trying to use that as evidence of a recovery when that doesn't tell us anything. Sure, it doesn't tell us that things are really getting worse per se, but things aren't improving either, from looking at just that data set. But then we look over to the dollar. Look at what the dollar has done. Oh my gosh. If you look at the dollar index right now, it's over 101. But prior to gold and silver crashing in price in 2011, the dollar index was around 71, 72. So that's how much the dollar has strengthened since 2011. And I'm just pulling this from BloombergMarkets.com, and look what they say here about the dollar. The dollar extended its record-winning streak against the euro amid speculation Donald Trump's reflationary economic policies will trigger faster monetary tightening. The greenback has strengthened for 10 straight days against the euro, the longest rally since the shared currency's debut in 1999. The dollar is also heading for the biggest 2-week advance against the yen since that same year. The U.S. currency's appreciation over the past 2 weeks has come as Treasury yields have surged on bets the new administration will boost spending and spark an increase in inflation. Fed Chair Janet Yellen suggested Thursday the central bank remained on course to tighten policy, while Fed St. Louis President James Bullard said Friday that some of Trump's potential policies may help restore lagging U.S. productivity. Now, from what I just read right there, remember when I said on the episode where I talked about insider trading? This is going back a few months now. Just if you haven't listened to it, go back. I really liked how that one turned out. A lot of great information all piled into 25-minute episode, whatever it was. I talked about on that episode, Martha Stewart and her insider trading case, and then also Phil Mickelson, the golfer. But anyway, what I was talking about in that episode with the insider trading, I made the point that, okay, sure, you can have some inside information on something that nobody else knows about, and say you react and you invest based on that knowledge that you have. It's like, okay, well, and so I'm going to put all my money in this way because I know this no one else knows, so I'm going to make some money. But see, this is the thing. People, given the same information, people will react to it differently and they will invest differently. And so with insider trading, okay, say you guessed right with your inside information and you made money. Okay, they'll ding you. But say you had insider information, but you didn't make any money on it because, well, you things didn't go the way you planned or expected. I guess they're not going to get you for insider trading because you didn't win. But anyway, with this Trump victory, I think this is a perfect example of what I was talking about in regards to insider trading. So let's say, you had some sort of poll. You knew, oh yeah, all the elections, they're rigged. I know the exact person who rigs them. So I know for damn certain that Trump is going to be the next president of the United States because we have it all rigged. He's going to win all the swing states and he's going to win one of the blue states that he needs. He's got it. So let's say you're the only person that knew that. You had 100% certainty that Trump would win. Well, there's a lot of these experts, particularly there's some that I follow, investing in, gold and silver. And they were making the case that, hey, look, with a Trump victory, gold will surge over 7%. I mean, they were seeing a huge surge, and a lot of people were predicting that the stock market would collapse in value also. But with that in mind, let's say you had the insider information that, okay, Trump's going to win. Okay, and these experts are saying gold's going to go up 7%. These guys have been in the industry for a long time. They've made a lot of money from the industry, with all the uncertainty out there and the unpredictability of Trump. Okay, sure, investing in gold seems like a really safe bet, right? So you take your money and you throw it into gold and the gold miners because it's like, dang, if gold can rally 7%, these miners could rally, 30, 40%. You could make some easy money. Well, since the election, these last 2 weeks, the exact opposite has happened. We had Trump elected the next president of the United States, but gold at the time, I think it was around $12.70 an ounce just prior to the election. Well, then the day of the election, when it was realized that, okay, yeah, Trump's going to win, I was watching the gold price. And actually, if I hadn't paid attention to any of the results coming in from, like a Fox News or CNBC, I could just look at the gold price and I saw how it was taken off. It was crazy. It was up more than, I want to say $50. It was up about 4% overnight, once it basically was certain that Donald Trump was going to win. But by the next day, all those gains in gold were gone. And since then, these last 2 weeks, gold has taken a beating. Gold is now trading just above $1,200 an ounce. So it's lost about $70 an ounce, and that's with a Trump victory. So here's these experts saying, yeah, hey, look. And these are really smart guys. I mean, the smartest guys in the industry. And see, that's the thing. Things are unpredictable. So that's why you got to have a longer term horizon. That's like what I say when I'm investing in this stuff. I'm not looking at it, okay, hey, yeah, put your money here the next few months, and in a month you're going to make a lot of money. I'm just basing it off, and that's why I always say 2 years. That gives me enough of the horizon where there should definitely be a really good turnaround with a lot of these stocks in that time frame. But in the short term, anything can happen, really. But these guys who were predicting, gold would rally 7%, the exact opposite has happened. Gold has fallen several percent. And mostly, what does that do to? Well, it's because the dollar has strengthened. The dollar is at 14-year highs since 2002. The gold bull market started in 2001. The dollar is stronger now than it almost was back then. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's what's been happening lately. And with all these other currencies, with the negative interest rates around the world, so the dollar is, we're the cleanest of the dirty laundry. I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, just about the insider trading. And so when we look at all this dollar strength out there, the question we have to ask ourselves, it's like, well, how much higher can the dollar go? Is it just going to keep strengthening beyond 14-year highs? My guess is with the dollar that, especially since 2011, the dollars, if you would have put your money in dollars, it was a safe bet. But I think we're closer to the end with this dollar quote unquote bull market, and I think the trend will start going the other way. And so if the dollar continues to fall, say if the dollar does go back to where it was back in 2011, and the dollar index goes down to 71, oh man, gold and silver will be ridiculous in price. They'll definitely surpass their highs that they have now. Look at actually gold is staying up. It's pretty strong right now, considering that the dollar is at a 14-year high and gold is still trading over $1,200 an ounce. Guys, remember in December of last year, 2015, when it was basically a foregone conclusion that the Fed was going to raise interest rates, gold fell to a multi-year low of $1,050 an ounce. And the dollar wasn't as strong back in 2015. It's interesting what's all going to happen with a Trump presidency. And I have to say, I chuckled when I came across this article. I was laughing hard. I was cracking up. And this is coming from Fortune. Because since the Trump election, the Mexicans over there across the border, they've been scared. And let me just read, especially in the very beginning of this, you're just like, oh man, it's like you're reading a parody piece almost. So again, this is from Fortune, and I just have a few sentences I'm reading from this. When it comes to President Trump, Mexico is preparing for the worst. The Bank of Mexico was forced to raise interest rates on Thursday to combat the swift decline of the peso following the election of Donald Trump last week. A cheaper peso has begun to fuel inflation in the country, forcing the bank to combat it with higher rates, even as the move will tamp down on investment, further weakening the Mexican economy. The Mexicans, they are scared. You guys remember Trump during the campaign. He was saying, hey, look, I'm going to build a wall. It's going to be a beautiful wall, and I'm going to make Mexico pay for it, right? That was always his line. Then, the Mexican president comes in, hey, I ain't paying for no stinking wall. You can shove it, Donald Trump. Well, then Donald Trump comes back in another debate. The wall just got 10 feet taller, So there's that amazing back and forth going. So Trump wants to make Mexico pay for it, which isn't going to happen, which I think he planned on having Mexico pay for it through, increased tariffs and that sort of thing. And so I guess the main reason that the Mexicans are worried, Trump was very tough on the Mexican people talking about that dang wall during the campaign, which he's not going to build a wall. And you've already heard Trump confess in interviews that, some places it makes more sense to have a fence, and so he's already not going to build this quote unquote wall. But I guess I remember making the comparison. This was several months ago now, how I pointed out how Trump used the wall as a symbol that he tied his campaign to. Because basically when people envisioned a wall, what does the wall mean to them? Well, first of all, it's a great imagery, right? You're just picturing this giant, beautiful wall. And yeah, he always used the word beautiful. And that beautiful door you can just go right through. Well, if you have your papers, of course. But he attached himself to building this great, beautiful wall. So you're looking at this beautiful image of it. And then, what do you associate a wall with? Well, it's like, look, a lot of conservatives out there, their big issue is want the borders to be under control, right? Well, the wall symbolizes that. I'm gonna be a strong borders president. There's not going to be any open borders under a Trump presidency. Well, I really don't believe that at all. I think he's going to be very much an open borders president. He's not going to change anything significantly. And Trump used that to, bring a lot of these people to be enthusiastic Trump voters. I was telling you guys a story when Trump was in Montana a few months before the election. And I was at the rally, and I remember the one guy, he had his little sign, "Yeah, build the wall." People are just screaming that. Oh, so many people cling to that idea. It's like watching V for Vendetta, and at the very beginning of it. And I love that movie, V for Vendetta. Actually, I encourage you guys should go watch V for Vendetta, especially this year with everything that's happened, that's taken place in this last year. You will watch that movie with new eyes. All the things, just listen to everything that is said in that movie. I'm serious. After you listen to my show right here, make a note to yourself. You need to watch V for Vendetta. So I do. I watch it every 5th of November. Actually, this year I was a few days late watching it, but oh my gosh. And I knew it. I was thinking about it before watching. I'm like, wow, watching this movie this year is going to be amazing. Because at the very beginning of the movie, they talk about ideas are bulletproof, and at the very end, when Evie is going to pull the lever down, it's like it's now her choice to make because it's going to be a new tomorrow that doesn't have V's vision of the future. And it's like the changing of presidents from Obama to Trump. Is it going to be a new tomorrow? And there's just so many little things in there about going after a big government. If a government killed millions and millions of people, would you really want to know? I mean, there's so many things in that movie. You're just like going to get a chill down your spine. I'm not kidding you. I was actually thinking about doing an episode, pulling up a bunch of those quotes as I was watching that movie. I'd have to go back and watch it again to pull them up. And I could do an episode just playing some of that. You guys be like, wow. It really is incredible. Or there's that part that I always get chills watching it. That's towards the end. It's the inspector. He's talking about all the things that have taken place in regards to V, and he's like, it's all connected. And then he's talking about, the past. And then actually at that point, they're showing a bunch of little clips throughout what has actually taken place in the movie. And then he's thinking about, what's to come. And then they're showing clips at that point of things in the movie that haven't happened yet, and it's like, I just get a chill down my spine. I mean, that movie, that is, I guess I've always said that's my second favorite movie of all time is V for Vendetta, because there's just so much in it. It's such a deep movie. Every year I watch it, I always pick up something else I didn't get before. I'm like, oh wow, that's great. Or like another example. Okay, I'll stop on V here. I know I'm kind of ranting here, but there was the when Evie was in prison during the movie, and there's the lesbian couple. It's the story of the lesbian couple that's taken place, and how the government is going after anybody who is gay or a lesbian, any things that aren't approved by the government. I mean, do you think that will pick up? Look at the white supremacists starting to take over at the national level right now, in terms of politics. Look at all the hate that seems like it's been out there. It's just, it really seems like our country, we're heading right towards what's all described in V for Vendetta. And it's actually a movie that came out in 2005. But, and you guys probably ask, if you haven't seen the movie before, you're like, wait, Justin, why do you always want to watch it on the 5th of November? Well, it's because remember, the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. So, that's just one line in the movie. But if you haven't seen that movie before, go out, get it right now. Okay, I'll stop talking about V. Now, in regards to the Trump presidency and just looking back these last 2 weeks, the markets see a Trump presidency as a huge positive, for the domestic economy. I think a lot of the markets are looking at it as, hey, look, Trump, he's a protectionist. And so, yes, that will help companies here in the United States. And yeah, he's going after Mexico. He kind of goes after China a little bit. And so all this is strong for King Dollar. And then it seems like the Federal Reserve, they continue to talk about tightening, and I think the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates in December. But all this that's going on right now, all this feeling of, oh man, yeah, our economy is going to be rocking and roaring. And I think, and a lot of these companies too, I think they're looking forward to the tax cuts they plan on getting with the Trump presidency, which, yeah, no, that's definitely a beneficial thing. But I think all this, for the most part, is going to be short-lived. Because, once Trump gets into office, people will eventually realize, okay, look, this guy is just kind of more the same. More big government spending. Trump wants to spend, $1 trillion more in regards to government spending. He wants to increase the amount of government programs out there, even though he talks about repealing Obamacare. Oh, no. Trump will just have Trump care, right? That's what these guys will do. And all these Republicans who talked so tough when Obama was president and they didn't have control. Remember John Boehner, when he would always bitch and complain, oh, yeah, we're only 1/2 of 1/3, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now the Republicans will have all three branches. Now the Republicans, they still have the House. They still have a hold on the Senate, and they will now have the presidency. So all three they will have in their power. And so the question is, are these Republicans serious? Will they really decrease government spending? Will they really try to get government out of our lives? Will they really try to get us back to a more free market? Or will they just implement more of the same? Will they just have their own version of big government? Or, the Republicans, their form of big government is always the welfare to foreign countries and wars, right? Which I guess if you want welfare, I guess it's better to have it in your own country than exporting it, right? So it's going to be a great test. Let's see. Speaker Paul Ryan. Oh yeah, I remember when you were chosen as the VP pick for Mitt Romney back in 2012. And I remember the talk, oh yeah, Ryan, he did seem like he was a lot more of a conservative back then. And he always made all of his staffers, they had to read Atlas Shrugged. Oh yeah, he was like this Ayn Rand devotee. What a bunch of BS. Ryan is going to continue to spend money like there's no tomorrow. It's going to be just a total crapshoot. We're going to be in this giant cluster of a mess. We have a national debt over almost $20 trillion now. Right now, our interest payments, they're somewhat manageable, because we have interest rates around 0.5%. They're at historic lows. And if you look at the 200-year average for interest rates, it's around 5%. And here we are sitting at 0.5%. Can our economy, can we handle interest rates at 5%? Hell no, we can't. There is no way. Our interest payments will be insane. All this money that Trump wants to spend on infrastructure, that will all have to go to interest on the debt. This is how screwed we are, my friends. And this is why I predicted long ago that the Federal Reserve is going to have to come out eventually with their new plan of QE4, more money printing. It's going to have to be the largest money printing scheme they have ever done because we have to paper over these debts. It's the only way out. Even if it will require a nudge from Donald Trump when he's president to Janet Yellen, like, hey, Yellen, you better get me some QE4 or I'm definitely not going to reappoint you, which he most likely won't reappoint Janet Yellen anyway. But it does seem, if you go back and look at the history with the Federal Reserve chairman, or I guess in this case, chairwoman Janet Yellen, the presidents have a lot of influence in regards to what the Federal Reserve does. And that is the end game, my friends. And that is what most people, and that's what most people in the markets aren't reacting to, is that the federal government will inflate the debt away. I'm very confident about that. And that's why I have protected myself personally, owning physical gold and silver, taking my money out of the system. You look at all these countries around the world, how they want to go and they want to get rid of paper money altogether. Well, imagine, if I didn't have any physical gold or silver and that was happening, in the U.S., they took away $50 bills, $100 bills. Basically, they had it so all you could basically use was like $10 bills and less. I would be kind of scared. It's like, well, crap, I can't just go load up on a bunch of $10 bills. But when I know that I have the physical gold and silver, well, I know I have a portion of savings the government can't get to because I have it in my possession. I know if I need to, I can take that stuff and I can go get it in exchange for goods, or if I want to exchange it for some currency in the future, I can. Or in some other foreign country's currency, I can. People will gladly accept gold and silver. And that is why it's so beneficial to have as a hedge. as a way to protect yourself, because people aren't just going to be like, oh, gold or silver, I don't want any of that stuff. No, gold and silver will always have value. And so I've said that many times on my show. So I encourage you guys to do that as a way to protect yourself. But of course, it's not right for everybody. Just make sure you gotta do other things first before you protect yourself with gold and silver, like having a food storage and so forth. But anyway, guys, I'm getting too long-winded here. Let me just say, to finish up the show, I actually haven't mentioned this in a long time, but I've had a link on my website for, I don't know, over a year now. It's a link to Tom Wood's Liberty Classroom. And I haven't told you guys in a long time, but you guys need to become members of Liberty Classroom. Tom Woods keeps adding more and more classes all the time. I've been a member of Liberty Classroom since the beginning. There's actually a lot of the classes I still have yet to listen to. But Bob Murphy just released his latest class, The History of Political Thought. Oh man, talking about Adam Smith, David Ricardo, all these guys that you've heard the names are like, okay, wait, what did they really do? Okay, yeah, Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, yada, yada, yada. Bob Murphy has an entire class, hours and hours of content. You can listen to Bob Murphy, and that is a fantastic class. Doug Casey teaches a class on logic. You have a class that talks about the history of conservatism and libertarianism. There's a class on the 10 best presidents and the 10 worst presidents. There is so much value on this site. I got to tell you guys, you should sign up. And if you sign up through my link, you know what I'm going to do? For anyone who does, I'm going to have a drawing, and you're going to win a silver coin, and you're going to get my bonus episodes. And heck, if there is a ton of people who sign up through my link, then I'll probably have more than one silver coin I'll give away. So I'll vary it, but for sure I'm going to have a winner, and there's going to be, and so you guys need to do this. What I always want to do on my show, I want to try to lead you guys to other places where you can access fantastic content, if you are craving to learn more and you want to understand more about economics. There's a class on Austrian economics at Liberty Classroom. And you guys are like, okay, Justin, well, that's all sounds great. Yes, I want to learn more, but it's going to cost me a fortune, Justin. I can't afford that. Actually, you can. You can get all of what I just said here. There's actually, with Tom Wood's Liberty Classroom, he has a total of 17 courses. 17! And I mean, all sorts about history. There's even some on Western civilization, talking about the Old West. And, there's just so much great stuff. You guys need to go. And so you can get all 17 courses for $89. And so if you guys can go to my website, justinmooreshow.com, Moore is spelled M-O-H-R, click on the Tom Woods link there. That will take you to the Liberty Classroom site through my link. You have to sign up through my link. And if you, and once you guys do sign up through my link, you need to send me a picture of your, a screenshot of you signing up through my link, so I know that you used it. And then I will put you in the drawing for the silver coin and my bonus episodes. And actually, who knows? I might just throw in for anyone who signs up through my link. Maybe I'll give you access to one of my bonus episodes, or I'll do something for you. I'll kind of work that out. But I'm telling you guys, sign up through my link. I'm going to send you guys some bonuses. And it's actually a fantastic way to treat yourself this holiday season. I mean, just $89, and you can get all the access to all that knowledge. These are some of the best professors around. Bob Murphy. I was just on the Contra Cruise with him. Bob Murphy is one of the smartest economists out there. And not to mention, he's probably the funniest economist out there, which, okay, I guess, in terms of economists, most aren't all that funny. But still, no, Bob is a very, very funny guy. I love hanging out with Bob, singing karaoke with Bob. He's just a great guy. And obviously you guys know about my bonus episodes. My one bonus episode you'll get, signing up through the link. I'll tell you how to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars going to Vegas. And I'll teach you how to play blackjack the right way, how you can make money playing blackjack like I do. And so if you guys can do that for me and sign up through that link, Liberty Classroom, click on the Tom Woods, click on the picture of Tom Woods on my website and sign up. It'll be the best $89 you spend this year, okay? Or pretty close. I guess I don't know what you've bought. There are some pretty good values out there. But guys, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. But guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I will talk with all you guys next week, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore, signing off.